Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're going to dive into this really strange paradox that's popping up in the age of generative AI.
AI promises us this limitless creative world, right? Any song, any story, any picture you can dream up, bam, it's there in seconds. But here's the weird part. A lot of the people using it the most are reporting this really unique kind of deep burnout. So let's get into it and figure out why.
So what's the deal? You think, okay, maybe people are just running out of prompts to feed the machine, right? But it's actually something way deeper than that. It gets right to the heart of how we create as human beings. And let's be clear, this isn't your classic creative burnout. We're not talking about writer's block, staring at a blank page, totally stuck. No, this feeling actually comes from the complete opposite, from being able to create stuff at this insane, almost inhuman speed. To really wrap our heads around this, we need a different way of looking at it, a new metaphor.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea that creators have been using for ages, the creative well. Seriously, this concept pretty much explains everything that's happening with this new kind of AI burnout.
Okay, so here's the gist. It was made popular by writers, and the idea is that your creativity isn't infinite. It's more like a reservoir, a well, right? And it gets filled up by your actual life, your experiences, your feelings, all the stuff you do. The spark for your art comes from real life. Bottom line, you have to live a little to have something interesting to say.
This is where it gets super interesting. Think about the old way of doing things. The creative process had all this natural friction built in, right? It was slow, you had to think about it, it drained that creative well nice and slow, which gave it time to fill back up. But AI? AI is like hooking up a massive, high-speed industrial pump to that well and just turning it on full blast.
And this isn't just a theory. Check this out. One person, using the music generator Suno, cranked out 4 full albums of music in just a couple of weeks. I mean, stop and think about that for a second. For a regular musician, that's the kind of output that could easily take, 10 years to write, record, and get out there?
So, what happened next? Well, after that insane 2-week creative sprint, they felt totally empty. The well was bone dry. It took them a year and a half of just living life, having new experiences, meeting new people, to get enough inspiration back for just one more album. That's the power of AI's speed. It lets you burn through a lifetime of ideas in the blink of an eye.
Okay, and this brings us to a really critical shift, a point where the whole dynamic of how we work and create just gets flipped upside down. Because in this new world, you are the bottleneck.
Think about it. Before AI, in pretty much any creative job, there were always these built-in speed bumps. You're always waiting for something, right? Waiting for the budget to get approved, waiting for your coworker to send you their part, waiting for the whole band to show up for practice. The process was what slowed you down.
But now, with AI, poof, all those external roadblocks are just gone. All of a sudden, the only thing holding back this infinite machine is you. Your own speed, your own energy, your ability to focus. And as a lot of people are finding out, that's a really uncomfortable place to be.
I mean, this change is huge. The AI doesn't get tired, it doesn't need a coffee break, it just goes as fast as you can think. Now you mix that with our whole hustle culture thing, where we're all supposed to be 110% productive all the time, and the pressure just becomes insane. It's no wonder that recent studies are showing the heaviest AI users are also the most burned out. When you are the only brake on an infinite engine, all of that pressure lands right on your shoulders.
But, this whole burnout thing, it's not just about speed and pressure. That's really only half the story. There's something else going on, something a lot more subtle and psychological. And that brings us to what we might call the problem with perfect.
This might sound a little weird, but stick with me. What if getting exactly what you want is actually the problem? It's a really counterintuitive thought, but it's the key to this whole creative emptiness thing. I mean, think about it. When you consume art or stories, what makes you enjoy it?
It's the surprise, right? The novelty. That thrill of discovering something you never would have come up with on your own. But when you are the one guiding the whole process, when you're the puppet master, that genuine element of surprise just disappears. And this right here shows the difference perfectly. When you prompt an AI to write a story, you're the director. You're in the driver's seat. Now compare that to watching a movie someone else made. You're just a passenger along for the ride. And it's those unexpected twists and turns that make it so thrilling. And yeah, you can tell an AI to surprise you, but at the end of the day, you're still the one who built the car. You're still in your own little walled garden of ideas.
So where does that leave us? Well, it points to a really basic human need that AI, at least right now, just can't fulfill. And that's our deep, fundamental need to be surprised.
The techie term for this is high entropy input. But all that really means is we need messy, random, unpredictable stuff from the real world to fill us back up. We need new ideas that come from totally outside our own little bubble.
And what this all comes down to is that the fix for AI burnout, well, it isn't more AI. It's the opposite. It's getting out there. It's living your life. It's discovering art made by another human, getting lost in a movie plot you could never see coming, or, yeah, even getting a dog. You can't refill the creative well by just consuming more stuff that came from a machine prompted by you. You have to go out and find those wonderfully messy, truly human experiences.
And maybe that's the big takeaway here. In an age where we can create anything we want, instantly, is the most important skill learning how to be surprised again? Maybe the real challenge isn't just getting good at using these incredible tools. Maybe it's about remembering why and when we need to just log off and go refill that very human well that makes all this creation worthwhile in the first place.